what we believe to best, all the bells, all the whistles, all the nuances, all the stuff that is really, really important to have to sell art, something that you won't get on a generic e-commerce website, wall preview, 3D previews, media types. Order comes in, you get paid, the printer get paid, it automatically ships, all of those things. We're like, this is going to be awesome. We're going to have a huge business, right? Wrong. And the reason is because none of you guys in this call have a website problem in the slightest. Meaning, if I was the genie and I just came out of the lamp and I said, where do you want your website? Boom, like that, I'll have it done. Do you know what's going to change in your business after you move to that new website? Absolutely nothing. Because every single solitary one of you has an attention and a marketing problem. So there we were. Greatest website solution that exists for artists and photographers. We're like, we're going to have a huge business, and not at all. Because we didn't have any successful customers. Because everyone had a marketing problem. So the next evolution of the business was like, we are going to create the best marketing education that exists. How to email market, how to run a live art show, how to price your art, how to run Facebook ads, how to run a sale, all the steps. DIY, digital education, learn at your own pace. That's going to be great, right? Wrong. No one wants to learn at their own pace. No one's going online and taking a class and watching all the videos and following all that and executing on that. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all. If you look at any of the e-learning sites, lynda.com, Coursera, MasterCourse, any of those things, it's like 25 to 35% of the people that buy the course even finish the damn thing, because that's not how we learn as human beings. You have to be extremely motivated to want to do that, and it's just not the best way. Okay, so now we have the best website solution. Now we have the best marketing education, and still our customers are not doing enough. Okay, what's next? Then we created a bunch of different things in iterations. One, we created a calendar. We still have it that tells you what to do 365 days a year. When to run sales, when to do regular marketing, what the post makeup should be, email templates, language you should use, all of these amazing things, right? And we got some of our customers following that and got a little better. Then we created a Facebook group, put all of our customers inside that Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, everyone's interacting with one another. All the landscape photographers are reacting with one another. We're solving problems in there. We're getting people unstuck. Okay, great. What then? Then COVID hit. And we realized we needed to up our game. And so then at that point in time, we started our webinar product, which is kind of like what you're on now. And we have these going on all the time. There's one going on right now internally. And we get all our customers in a room. We lecture about whatever the topic is. We do screen shares. You can ask questions. Everyone learns from everyone else. We solve problems in real time. There's tech support available. And all of that is going on. And that was a huge, huge change in the business and a fundamental change in the business. And I think it's one of the most impressive things that we do, because it turns out what you guys need to be successful is, yes, marketing. Every one of you has a marketing problem that needs to be solved. But also, as it turns out, there's a huge emotional piece to this business, because you guys are all solopreneurs. It is a damn emotional roller coaster. There are ups and there are downs. And when everyone hits the down, they usually quit. They usually phone it in. They usually take 3 months off. They're off doing something else, right? And if you don't have a group of your peers and partners, for lack of a better term, to help you out on those downs, it's hard to get back on the train and keep going, right? And so we found that emotional piece is a tremendous piece of it. So, okay, COVID hit, sales exploded for everyone because home decor and everyone was in lockdown and everyone started working on their houses. So it was great for the art business, fantastic time for the art business. And then we're like, what's next? What's the next thing that we can do? And so our most recent offering, and maybe you guys have seen this in email or seen this somewhere else, is we've got a product called Copilot. And what Copilot does is it does a good portion of the marketing for you. We connect to your Instagram account, we connect to your Facebook account, and we send emails on your behalf. So we post to Instagram, we post to Facebook, we send emails on your behalf, and we do that super, super consistently, i.e. you never miss days. You're always running the sale when the sale needs to be running. And that has been a massive fundamental breakthrough as well, because what we found is even with the best DIY education, the best website, the best community, these in-person sessions that we call office hours, the calendar, most people were still not following it. Most people were still phoning in the efforts. Most people were changing things that we advocated that they do, and more often than not doing things consistently. It's like, if it was on the calendar to have a sale, they might send one email instead of the 15 that we're asking them to send, right? And so that's the iteration of where we've gone to a company up till now. And we've had some of the biggest months we've ever had in the history of the company. We've received more testimonials from our customers than we've ever seen in the company. And it's an extremely exciting time. And it all goes back to what I said in the beginning. Every single solitary one of you just wants to create and have somebody else take care of everything else. You know, more or less, that's what you guys all want. I already know I talk to hundreds of you a week. I don't even need a show of hands. How awesome would that be if I could just get that, right? So where we're evolving to slowly as a business is trying to be the modern day digital art gallery type of relationship without the 50% haircut and without not knowing who your customers are. And it's sort of a fascinating evolution watching it all go through. And, you know, you guys all just miss the consistency in your marketing. You will never do it as consistent. It needs to be done. And life happens. What happens when you go on a vacation, right? What happens when there's a health issue in the family? What happens if you're sick or you get COVID or all these various different things, right? In all those scenarios, the number one thing that will suffer in your business and has suffered in your business throughout your entire careers is you come off the gas in the marketing, you come off the gas in the promotion, you come off the gas in the sales. And guess what? Never get any of that time back, do you? You miss those days, you can't go back in time and get them. And fundamentally, this business, if you want to be successful in it over the course of the long term, it is about the number of collectors you have. A collector, as defined by Weiland, who's the whale guy, the whale artist, he defines a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 7 pieces of art from him during the course of his life. And he finds that his list of collectors is the biggest and most important, impactful thing that you can have. I would agree with that. I've seen that over the 10 years of data with our customers too. And the number of collectors you have is essentially the 401k. It's the pension. It's the base salary that you get paid as an artist that's selling direct just for waking up in the morning. And in order to have a collector, you first have to register a sale. And when you miss these days, when you're not marketing consistently and you're not running sales and you're tired, life happens, whatever, and you don't do the marketing, you're not acquiring as many customers as you could be, and you're not going to turn those customers into collectors. And so that's the evolution of kind of where we've been, what we've gone as a company. And it's been extremely fascinating. And, you know, I go back to the webinar product. Like, are we the greatest product in the history of mankind since sliced bread? No, we're not. We have a ton of stuff to improve on. But what I love what we do is we take the top company executives in this company and we put them in Zoom sessions with our customers on a week in, week out basis. And if there's issues, we solve them. If there's something you're struggling with, we work on it. And we really do view it as a long-term relationship, because if there's one thing that I've learned, and I've run hundreds of these sessions week in, week out since before COVID, is it's a lifelong vocation for you guys. There's no switching off. There's no midlife crisis, like I'm going to retire and go do something else. If you've got that creative bug, it's with you for life. I routinely get people on these sessions in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. I once had someone on this session that was 96 tell a gentleman that was 92 he was a damn kid on one of these sessions. So when you realize that, and you realize how the time horizon of how much time you have left, depending on where you are, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years sometimes in this business, you realize that the consistency of getting these things right and constantly showing up week in, week out is how you grow a business, is how you achieve what you're looking to achieve in your art career. So it's been really a fascinating evolution of sorts that's gotten to us where we are today. And on that note, yeah, I'll open it up to Q&A. You guys can ask, you know, anything about anything. I'm also streaming this, and let me explain how that all works so I get my fat head out of the way. So if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window here, and I'll go into grid mode so Mason's not getting picked on. At the bottom of this, well, first of all, if you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on and you have a question, all you have to do is raise your hand and I'll see that, okay? And I'll call on you, unmute you and call on you. For everyone else, there's this like little smiley face thing here on the bottom of the Zoom bar, and it says reactions. If you click that, it gives you the way to raise your hand, digitally speaking. That lets me know you have a question, and then I can unmute you, bring you on. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on, okay? I have a face for radio. I hate being on video, but this is my job, so I have to. And also, if you want to throw questions in the chat, I can see those. I can respond to those. And then if you're one of the ones that's watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I see those comments. I see those questions as well, and I can ask those. Raymond, you are first up. Go ahead, my friend. How you doing? You'll just need to unmute, Raymond.
Can you hear me?
I gotcha.
All right. First of all, you know I'm not that much tech savvy, so finding this stuff is a little difficult, but I was successful with that. All right, my first question, how much does it cost to get started? I saw a webinar a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw what you guys did, from the printer, taking your own pictures,
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing, and I like it. So, what's the cost to get started, and is there a monthly fee? My
Awesome.
hand.
Yep. So, what everyone tends to do is compare us to like other website solutions that are out there. And it's true, we have a website component, but the easiest way to think about what we do is there's the website component and everything that goes with that, all the back end technology, bells and whistles, and then a postgraduate university that you pay a tuition to get into and that just never stops teaching you how to sell art or photography for the rest of your life. So it's two entities that you're signing up for at once. Like all website companies, we charge a monthly fee. And then we charge a one-time fee to get into the university, which goes to pay the army of folks that we have internally that are going to help you out with all of these various different things, including the support, including the marketing education and all the sessions and all the Zoom webinars and everything else. And we are by no means the cheapest thing in town. We're not even close to the cheapest thing in town. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is, and then I can get into some rough numbers. The reason is that if we don't have successful customers, we don't have a business. And what we found over our evolution when we were just a website company to where we are now, the ecosystem that we provide is what we believe gives artists and photographers the greatest shot at being successful. And that's what we do. That's what we over-index on. Moreover, when you look at the financial commitment that it takes to join us in contrast to everyone else, like when you're signing up for a $29, a $39, a $15, a $50 a month thing, the commitment you have to actually doing the work is nowhere near as high as it would be otherwise. Because if you take 1 month off, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, it cost me $40, $30, $50, whatever. But when you pay what we charge, there's no way you're not making it work. Okay, you are effectively burning the boat. You're like, there's no way I'm throwing away that amount of money on this damn thing and then not doing the work, because ultimately there's going to be work, right? So we have a couple of different plans and packages, and we do this thing called the demo process, which is probably the webinar you sat in on. I just don't know if you waited till the end on pricing. But I think our lowest plan is like $1,200 or $1,300 down and $49 a month, something like that. And it goes all the way up to much bigger plans, and there's some ones in between. And so we're not cheap. We're not cheap in the slightest. But again, we believe it's what it takes to get you guys going and to get you guys making sales and to get you guys all towards, the dream outcome that you have for your business. And so that's what I would say.
All right, I got one more question.
Sure.
So you said the lowest was about 1,200, and then $49 a month, which is not terribly bad. What's the highest, and what does that include? That includes everything, all the bells and whistles,
Yeah,
like you said.
there's like 3 or 4 different plans. I generally stay out of it and I don't get into the weeds on it because they're constantly making tweaks and updating, editing everything.
Okay.
So, but there are different bells and whistles on the websites. There are different levels of support and marketing that we offer. And then there's now the addition of Copilot. And so you have a bunch of different options on doing it. What's cool that we do, though, I should have mentioned this in my intro remarks. I didn't have notes on it, and I would have. All our customers build their own websites. And then we realized, why the hell are we having artists and photographers building their websites? Okay, what a waste of time. And so now we build the website for you, for everyone. Everyone that signs up, period. You don't build a damn thing. You give the images, you give the descriptions and the text to our people. They put the whole thing together for you. In addition to that, one of the things that we have is that we call it Tech Assistant. You don't ever have to touch your website for the rest of your life. Any changes that you have, you interface with someone on our team and they do it for you. Okay. And again, it's one of those realizations that we had is your guy's superpower number 1 is creating the art. Okay. Superpower number 2 is getting your audience to know you, because it's not just about the art. It's also about the artist. People want to know what makes you tick. Right. And so there's needs that you have. If you're not working on those 2 things, you're literally wasting minutes, days, hours, your life, and lighting money on fire. So those are 2 things that we take care of. But if you're interested, Raymond, I would go and get a demo and let them walk you through all the plans and packages and deals and everything else. And they combine things into like 3 and 5 year plans, and everything gets cheaper. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it.
Okay, go get a, what did you say?
We call it a demo. It's basically the test drive. It's like the buttons that we have
Oh,
all over our web. And it's an annoying word. It's a word that they use in software. I hate it. I hate it. I want them to change it. But it's basically a tour. If you want, I'll write your name down and I'll have somebody email you about it. How about that?
okay, that sounds good. I like that.
One last thing, but hold
It's
on. I got to write it down, otherwise I'll forget.
right. Okay.
Done, Raymond. I'll have somebody reach out to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep listening.
Yeah, please. My pleasure. All right, Katerina, I see your question in the chat. Next up's Mason. Go ahead, Mason.
Hello. I have a question about
Yeah.
capturing emails. Like when you say send an email to like potential buyers,
Yes.
how are you capturing emails to, or how are they opting into the system so that you can then use their email to send out marketing campaigns?
Yeah. So we're not a marketplace, right? So it's not like you and 1,000 other artists are all in one web page. It's your URL, your business, your brand, right?
Mhm.
We teach you how to gather leads all year long. So let's assume you're not starting with a list at all. We have a number of different techniques and tactics that we teach that are a combination of in-person physical techniques along with digital techniques, along with ways to leverage print giveaways and merch giveaways, and to leverage Facebook and to leverage Instagram and to leverage QR codes and how to do shows and fairs, as well as we capture leads for you on your site. So that's where the emails come from.
Oh, so you can capture email addresses that you will provide to us, like people that are looking at our art?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's your website, but yeah, we teach you how the lead generation, like it has to be done. There's no shortcut to that. Everyone has to do their own, and there's no generic lead generation, right? Like, people are interested in the artist in question. There's not people that are like, everyone thinks there's like some sort of magical collector's list. If I just got that magical collector's list, what a bunch of bullshit. Yeah.
But I get people opting in, or, if someone comes and looks at your site and maybe they don't actually physically opt into your, give their email, are you allowed to just have their email address and use it?
No, it would be a whole lot cooler if that did work that way.
Okay, so they got to opt.
Yeah, they have
Okay.
to. Yeah.
Okay.
But we do the standard, we play all the normal and sophisticated e-commerce tricks, right? Like a first time offer box that pops up on your site, asks for the email address. And then, like I said, we teach you a number of these other marketing techniques and tactics that help you gather emails all year long.
Okay, great. All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. It's a critically important part of the entire business too. It never goes away, like even for the people that have thousands and thousands. Okay. So say that you keep marketing artist products so it increases sales, but how? There is no magic pill out there. How do you get traffic to the website? Thank you. Yeah. So regular and consistent marketing. Everyone thinks that like there's some sort of like special magical thing that you do. No. It's called capturing emails all year long, regularly posting to the socials, running sales when it's appropriate to run sales, rinse and repeat all year long. I try to, okay, encourage all of my customers to get something going on in the physical world. That can be doing 3 or 4 shows a year, which is usually enough, or doing something with a doctor's office or a coffee shop or a restaurant, or getting into a co-op gallery. We do encourage some of those other things because they're fantastic at being able to capture leads, and they just help give you, it's just part of the balanced diet of growing a business. So we do encourage some of that stuff as well. But it's incumbent upon the artist to always be working on that, and it's just a critical part of the business. This is a great question, Christopher. I love this question, and it's impossible not to take this thing cynically, but I give this advice honestly. How many images do you start with? One, right? Everyone's like, because here's how it goes. Okay, and again, I've been doing this for a long time, so pattern recognition is real. All just get started when? I'll just get started when I have enough images. I'll just get started when I get my bank account set up. I'll just get started when I know what my niche is. I'll just get started once I hear back from my lawyer, or that, when I get my artwork photographed. And then you know what happens? The minutes turn into hours, turn into days, turn into weeks. How's that art business coming? I'll tell you how it's going. It's going absolutely nowhere because you didn't get started. So don't take it cynically. Christopher, you can have one image, okay? And also too, like every new image that you release is a little mini marketing moment in itself, right? And we teach you how to do this, rolling out new images, talking about them. So it's never going to be perfect. The guy that started LinkedIn, his name's Reid Hoffman, absolute genius. This guy, just really, really sharp guy. He sold LinkedIn, I think, to Microsoft. But his line is, if you're not embarrassed by your first version, you've launched too late. It's so profound and it's so true. It's the same thing. It's like, if you don't get started, you're never going to get started. So it doesn't matter how many damn images you have. You get started, you get going, you start doing the marketing, you try to start getting some feedback, and you figure it out, right? So that's what I would say. That's interesting. Tomorrow, someone's saying on Facebook that the volume of my voice is low, which is funny because you know how many times I've heard that in my life, that the volume of my voice is low? Approximately 0. I've heard I'm a loudmouth my entire life. But tomorrow I think that's your speakers and not me. I think everyone else can hear me. Yeah. All right. Katarina's asking, might as well pull it up. It's a little bit more interactive. Do your salespeople offer the same price, or everyone tries to push their deals? Because I was told $1,700 one-time fee, not $1,200. Yeah. So I'm probably a little bit off on the numbers, Katarina. I have so much going on in my little silo of the world. We keep it separate. That's what works for us. I do all the marketing stuff. They do all what the various different deals are. We've also been on like a constant uphill chug because we just keep adding more and more and more and more features, and more things that we do for you. So your numbers probably could be updated, and there's not whatever the price is whatever the price is. There's not anyone pushing any special deals. It's just my own naivete and not going and seeing what it even costs these days. So that's how I'd answer that. But who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Can be anything about anything. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be just about Art Storefronts either. If you're struggling with something in your business and you just want some advice, like I've been doing this a long time and I've got 10,000 customers and I get to see all of their data. So it allows me to call BS at a clip the likes of which it'll make most people's heads spin. I get so many people out there saying this works, that works. And I'm like, give me a break. That works. You're lying. I've got 10,000 people and I look at their data on a weekly basis. I know what is actually selling art directly. But Katarina, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for answering those questions. I appreciate it. I wanted to ask you, I know you provide a marketing plan monthly basis. Do you also provide marketing for social media included? Like, do you suggest something to post?
No, yeah, all of it.
Can you explain a little bit more about social media marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of tradecraft to it, and it's changing all the time, right? So at the very highest level, what's important to know is like you can't post enough. Okay, there's so much noise in all of it that where most artists fail is they just don't post enough, and that's where it starts, right? It's just getting you up to that level. Then we can get into all the trade craft and all the individual stuff. Like, here's how you do a live video. Once the live video is over, here's how you save it and turn it into a reel. Here's how you take the reel and put the reel into your story. Now that you have that reel, you can go back and grab that reel and put it in a story every month and a half. So now go back and do it again and recycle that content. Here's how you download it and put it to Facebook. Here's how you run a live art show. Now let's do a carousel post. Here's what should be in it. So we teach you how to do all of that, but really the abstraction is that no one ever does it consistently enough. The sad thing about today's day and age is like, between 1% and 5% of your followers are going to see what you post. That's it, right? No one ever sees it. So it's incumbent upon you to up the posting frequency such that you can take advantage of the serendipitous moments. What's a serendipitous moment? I picked the wrong line in the grocery store. The guy in front of me has 700 things in his cart, and now the other lines are too long. So I'm going to grab that phone and go onto Instagram. And because Katarina posted right at that moment, I saw it. The serendipity that happened there was because you posted at the right place at the right time, right? And so we teach all of that all year long, but we also give you templated language and teach you all the cool new stuff that we're learning, with reels and how to post and how to share between the various different things and all that sorts of jazz. Yeah, you'll need to unmute again because you're muted.
Yeah, that's cool because that is definitely something that, I probably lack on, just like a lot of people do when you get busy.
Every person on this call lacks on. All 10,000 of my customers lack on. We lack on. I mean,
yeah.
I like, and so the spaceship moment for us was when we started Copilot. Were you on at the beginning when I explained what Copilot is?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I had a nice representative that I spoke to.
Yeah, and so we're seeing all of these people that are all of a sudden getting these sales all the time, and we're like, what the hell is going on? Like, what's changed? I had the marketing calendar. I told everybody about the Mother's Day sale. You guys were all supposed to run it, And they all said they were running it, and no one was running it completely. They were phoning in the efforts. And so when we finally took the damn thing away from them and did it ourselves, they're getting the results, right? And, you know, amazing stories are emerging out of this. And it sounds like I'm bragging a little bit. And you know what? Maybe a little bit I am, because I've had such a huge hand in creating the service. But we've never in the history, and I'm using this to make a larger point, and please don't take it as a sales pitch, but we have never in the history of this company ever gotten this many testimonials. And the reason that we're getting these testimonials is because we fired the damn artist at marketing. We told our customers that we're doing the marketing on their own. You're not doing this consistently enough. You're upsetting me. Get out of the way and let us do it, right? You're like, get out of the way and let us do it. And we're seeing our customers are going on vacation and they never would have done the marketing. And because this thing is just plugging away and doing it, they're getting sales. And so the point of it is, the reason I bring it up is there is low-hanging fruit for every single solitary one of you when you get to this increased frequency. And it works 100% of the time it's tried. What ends up happening, there's two types of artists on here, okay? There's two types of photographers on here, and you can contemplate which one you fall into. You already know that your art will sell because you've got it in front of enough strangers' eyes that it's sold, okay? Then there's everyone else that's created a bunch of art, and they've likely heard some things like this in their life. Your work is so beautiful, you should try and sell it. Oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. Why don't you start selling it? You've posted it on the socials and gotten all kinds of likes and comments and shares. Maybe you were in a show and won an award, right? None of that matters. The only thing that matters is, has the work sold? And so what ends up happening is the artists that are already selling, okay, easy, done. That's great. It works for them immediately. For all the others, they actually don't know if the work is going to sell or not. What you guys do is you create the work, you show it to almost no one, and then you say to yourself, this stuff's probably not my best work. It'll never sell. And then you move on to the next thing. And you just develop this collection, right? And you never got it in front of enough eyeballs to know if it was going to sell in the first place because you never marketed consistently in your entire life, right? So what Copilot does is it suffocates that bullshit and the lies that you tell yourself. Like, you know, oh, art must not sell. It's something else, right? Or something's going on economically. Like, no, you don't know. You haven't gotten the work in front of enough people to actually find out. And then once, what Copilot does is it markets enough, and then you find out. Either the work sells or it doesn't. And guess what? If it doesn't sell, that's totally normal for all kinds of artists. Pablo Picasso had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory when he died. 45,000, right? What did he know that other people didn't know? That being a successful artist or photographer is a game of archery. It is how many arrows you fire at the target. Not all of them are going to be bullseye. Some of them are going to go into the neighbor's yard and stick in the back of the fence, and that's totally normal. So we have a whole bunch of artists that are going through the Copilot process. For the first time in their lives, their art is actually getting seen by enough people. Once they find out if the work will sell or not sell, they start moving in new directions, and we teach how to do that as well. So it works for everybody, but underpinning all of it is the frequency in which you do your marketing. That was a very long-winded answer, I know.
Yeah, the social media is, I think, everybody's issue. It's
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so does it only if you include a co-pilot in your choices when you
Yeah, the Copilot
go
is the
in?
one that does it for you.
What if you don't?
If you don't, then you have to do it on your own, but we show you how to do all of it and when to do it and what to do and all of that jazz.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katarina. All right, so Cillian's saying, Cillian, I think it's Cillian. I'm losing my vision here. When is your next webinar? My next one, when is it? It's probably Friday. Friday the same time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The artist handles shipping and costs, correct? No. We teach you how to price it, and the shipping is included in the order. So the artist doesn't do anything with that. And it doesn't matter if you live in South America. It doesn't matter where you live. You know, if you live in South America and you're getting orders in South America, you would likely want to fulfill those yourself, although you don't necessarily need to do that. You know, we have some artists that use Art Storefronts just to handle all their North American orders. Like, you know, the perfect example is the people who live in Australia, right? Like, if you live in Australia and you're selling in Australia, I'm sorry, I'm not in the video. I didn't realize. The last thing that you want is all your orders being shipped in the U.S., being created in the U.S. and then shipped to Australia, right? So what our Australian customers do is they use their Art Storefront site to fulfill and ship all of their North American orders, Canada, the United States, and then when they get Australia, New Zealand orders, they just print them themselves there, use a local printer and fulfill them. So the geographic stuff is becoming less and less important, admittedly. But who else, guys? Questions, comments? Could be anything about anything. More than happy to answer. And you can do the old school hand raise or throw it in the chat, or the digital hand raise, however you want to do it. If you've got one, more than happy to answer. And then Judith was asking me while you guys are contemplating if you have another question. Did not hear back. Volume is low in your voice. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, not that one. Yeah, no, Sharon. Right now, Copilot's only on Instagram and Facebook. But the reality is that there aren't really any other platforms that matter for art and photography right now. And don't anyone tell me TikTok, okay? Biggest bunch of nonsense I've ever heard. I haven't seen a single solitaire. It's not true. I've seen like a couple. But the vast majority of my customers have been wasting their time on that dumpster fire of a network, have sold absolutely nothing. Oh, I got so many followers. Yeah, great. And I hope that strokes your ego, but you're not getting anywhere with it. Go ahead, Raymond. I get fired up on that damn TikTok thing. That thing infuriates me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about. I tried to set up a website with that GoDaddy. That was a waste of money and a waste of time.
Yeah, I could have told you. I could have told you that.
So,
but all of them, Raymond, all of them are. Like you have to fix the marketing problem. Otherwise, it's like you're building a beautiful restaurant, but no one's inside the damn thing. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you build the restaurant with. You got to get butts and seats.
Well, I didn't know.
I know.
I always felt that because I was an art director for Penthouse and a couple of magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm retired, which has been a while,
mm-hmm.
I started to, have fun with myself. And I started painting. And it's like you said, I got a bunch of stuff all downstairs. I've given some to my various doctors and people in my church. And just like you said, somebody said, oh, that's some nice work. Where are you showing? Like, I'm not showing anywhere. You can come to my house.
Yeah.
But the question is, it seems like that. What did you just mention, partner? The thing that cause that helps you to market.
Oh, Copilot.
Yeah,
it doesn't help you to market. It does it for you.
It does it. That's what I mean. It does it for you.
Yeah.
It seems like that would be in every package because that seems to be pretty important to me. That's a major fee or a major thing.
It is. We're literally only like 2.5 months into it. First of all, it's like one of the most groundbreaking things that exists, period. Like I don't know of any other software that does this for you, period, in any industry for the most part. And it's like it's a really, really hard thing to do because we're having to write emails and write captions for social and figure out how to pick images and how to do the hashtags and all this stuff, and then get it all scheduled and then send it all. So it's crazy groundbreaking. It's very, very exciting.
I see. Okay, so when you make the website for the person that comes on board,
mm-hmm.
and where do you see it, or where do you have to have a domain name?
Yeah, you have to have a domain name. So all you have to do is just pick the domain name and go and buy it at GoDaddy, and then we take care of the rest.
Well, I got one there. It's just sitting there.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ray's Art.
Done.
Were you getting ready to ask me what the name was?
This is exactly what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah, Ray's Art.
Awesome.
So, but I got a couple of pictures there, but I couldn't figure it out. And I couldn't find anybody to help me.
No, because GoDaddy's worthless. GoDaddy's worthless.
I see that now. Okay. All right, that's good enough. If I have more questions, I'll just click on again.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. But also too, I'm gonna have them reach out and they'll show you all the bells and whistles.
That'll be good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right, Ashakur, you're up next. And tell me if I hacked your name or not. You'll need to unmute mic icon bottom left hand corner. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep, gotcha.
Okay. All right. Hi, Patrick.
Did
I
I
was just
get your
gonna
name right or
follow.
no?
Yeah, you
Okay.
did perfect. It's a tough name. It's a Persian name, but I'm not Persian. I'm not gonna get into that.
You get that. So I can't let you off the hook. Do you know how many Persians I grew up with? Like I live in Southern
No,
California.
no, no. I'm
I have
not
like
Persian. I'm from Bangladesh, actually.
no
So,
way.
we have that, we have that Muslim connection,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sufi Muslim connection. Anyways, long story. Anyways, I was just gonna follow through with Mr. Raymond, what Mr. Raymond was saying. That okay, you have this website. Okay, we get the website out of the way, and then you mentioned something about the co-piloting thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where you do the marketing, right?
We do the marketing for you. Yes.
But then you mentioned earlier to someone else that we have to do our own like find our own lead. What's the difference?
Yeah. So there's marketing period, right?
Sorry,
And the marketing is everything. It's how you get attention, really, at the end of the day, right? And all of you guys need more attention, how you get more eyeballs on the art. And some of the marketing is you and your process and what makes you tick, ways for people to get to know who you are, what makes you tick, what's interesting about you. Are you a dog person? Hey, it's this guy with the Persian name from Bangladesh. What's his crazy story? How am I going to understand who he is, right? Some of it's that. Some of it is the actual sales or running the sales campaigns, okay? Some of it is print giveaways, which is one of the ways that we use to gather leads, and essentially
Right.
hey,
You mentioned that.
I was about to grab a print, but I'm giving away such and such. If you want to win, put your email in the box. I'll announce the winner on Friday. 150 people do that. You announce the winner on Friday. For everyone else, you're like, hey, I'm just like you. I never win anything either. So tell you what, take 10% off store-wide, ends Sunday, right? So we do those kind of things all the time too. And it's basically once you get into the regular and consistent marketing, doing all of those things, inevitably people come back to your website. You capture leads that way. If you were ever to do an in-person event, we teach you ways to do it that way as well. If you're going to do a show or a fair or, a thing at a brewery or whatever you might do. So we have a bunch of ways of teaching you how to do it.
Cool. The second question is, well, my background is architecture. Okay, I'm an architect, but that's why I'm more inclined to doing abstract photography.
Yeah.
Okay. But recently I'm doing street photography, and I've heard that there is a market for it also. Is that true?
Yeah, it's
Tougher, right?
One of the things that I'm continually blown away by, okay, is you can't pick horses in this business, okay? And let me qualify that. I'm an amateur photographer, okay? I don't want to build a business out of it, but I minored in photography in college, multiple photo classes, studied all the greats, okay? I understand composition. I understand the rule of thirds. I think I have a decent eye. I printed photos in a dark room, and there are people on this platform that I think make snapshots that don't know how to do any of the above that are selling quite well. Then I've got some that have over 500,000 Instagram followers, and they're not selling as much as the guy that has 1,000 Instagram followers. And I cannot explain it other than the fact that you can't pick horses in this business, okay? So that needs to be said, and don't let any dissuade you. But also, there's this business term called TAM, T-A-M, the total addressable market. And the idea is that based on what your subject matter material is, there's usually a size of a market there is, right? And there's also levels of competition. And I think really the easiest way to answer this, and my wife's got a PhD in statistics, and I should probably get her to explain to me the easiest way, but these are such multivariable equations. Who the person is, what the niche is, who they connect with, how many years experience, what size is their email list, what is their personality like, that it's so hard to come out with an all things formula, right? And then everyone also you start out with what you have. You try to start selling it, and you see how you go. And the only thing you need to be open to do is continue experimenting and trying new things, right?
Right.
I also do think normally what most artists and photographers do is they say, this is what inspires me. This is what I creatively love to do. So I'm going to create this, and then I'm going to go take it to the market and see how it sells. What no one ever does is reverse engineer the equation, okay? Instead of starting where I just explained, start with the end. And if you were going to start with the end, you say, I need a diehard, raving lunatic bunch of people that I know will buy anything to do with this subject, and then I'm going to go create stuff for them, right? And a simple way to think about it is like, I'm going to pick Green Bay Packers fans, right? Because Green Bay Packers fans buy their damn body weight in Green Bay Packers related gear on a yearly basis. So I'm going to go figure out some damn art that I can create that's in that niche. And I know the minute I create it, I'm going to have the huge audience, right? And so that's a sports analogy, but there's a million other ways to do it, right? Like I've got one guy, okay, this is super interesting question. He really likes a certain theme park that has to do with the mouse. He goes into the theme park that has to do with the mouse, sets his tripod up, and gets all sorts of photos of all sorts of the rides. He is absolutely killing it. And the theme park with the mouse doesn't care. They just view it as promotion. And he's absolutely killing it, right? And when you think about that, there's a lot of people that are really diehard about going into the theme park about the mouse, right? There's a lot of people that have really positive memories about the theme park with the mouse and want a picture of that on their room or on their wall or anything else. So he's figured out a niche. But I've got so many people doing it in so many weird ways. It's like crazy. So you can't worry about any of that stuff. You get at it, you start doing, you might need to change, it might work. You won't know until you know, right? So that's why I say, like, you got to get started, you know? And again, don't take that as a sales pitch. I don't care if you get started with us, but don't wait, right? Like, no one ever gets to work in front of enough eyeballs to know if it's actually going to sell, right?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. That was a great question. And so Sharon on Facebook is asking, let's see if I can pull this up. You know, I got this fancy, stupid computer display. I don't even know how to drive the doggone thing. So what about copyrights on something like What the Park with the Mouse? Yeah, the dirty little secret is they know. The Park with the Mouse knows, and they actually don't care. As long as somebody is not selling $10 million a year worth of Disney stuff, they don't care. They just view it as promotion for their park, which is, you know, a really smart way of looking at it. But, you know, your mileage might vary, right? There are some things like, you know, a lot of people kind of straddle the line of like celebrity art, for instance, right? Which is a huge one. Musicians or famous actors or this or that. So there's so many different ways to do it, and there's so many different variables in the equation. It really is staggering, right? Like, for instance, one of the things that I love talking about is I feel like at some point in time, every artist or photographer or aspiring artist or photographer sits down with a colleague or a friend or a mentor or a family member, and that particular person has a great deal of success in their career, or they've been successful, they're really knowledgeable, right? And the number one, like, one size fits all advice is you have to have a niche, right? Well, if you could just settle down on a niche, then you'll be doing great and you'll figure things out. So you just got to get there. And the advice is just, on the surface, sounds so sound, right? Like, of course I got to have a niche. That's so important. And it's advice that I would have believed in when I just got started here. But now, 10 years on and 10 years worth of data of all of these various different artists of every age, every niche, all over this country, other countries, I've seen the alternative. It's not as much about the niche. It's that multivariate equation. I would say the majority of my most successful customers don't have niches. They're all over the place. And, you know, people get bonded to the artist and they love their creativity and they love the way that they see and interpret the world, and they're just interested in what that person does. And maybe it's like a 70-30. Like, let's say of the artists that are selling 6 figures plus a year, 70% don't have a niche and 30% do, right? And that's what I see. And it's a crazy, crazy thing. And what ends up happening when you do this correctly is the real answer to the question is, like, you need a niche. The reason you don't need a niche is because none of you know what your damn niche is yet. You haven't sold enough. The only way that you can find out is, like, you go to market with all of these things that you have, okay? What no one's ever done is get that body of work in front of enough eyeballs to actually get the feedback that matters. And the only feedback that matters is a transaction, okay? Exchange with the dollars. It's not what anyone else tells you. It's whether or not the stuff sells. And let's say you go and do this for a year, and you've now marketed this work for a year. you've made a bunch of sales and you've got a bunch of feedback. One of two things happens at the end of it. Either this thing called Pareto's law emerges, which is what most people call the 80-20 rule, which would mean at the end of the year, 20% of the work is giving 80% of the revenue. This ratio just always seems to emerge. If at the end of the year, 20% of the revenue or 20% of the work is giving you 80% of the revenue, that is when you need to have a person will come to Jesus and say, okay, I think they've told me what my niche is, right? And then you know what your niche is. But I just as often see the opposite, which at the end of the year, a smattering of everything is sold. In which case it's like, you don't have a damn niche. You're the niche. Keep creating. People seem to love it. Now we got to just get it in front of more eyeballs. And there's not a damn person that can tell you what scenario you're going to fall into. The only thing that can is when the dollars come out of the damn wallet. That's the truth. There is no other truth. It's not likes, it's not comments, it's not shares, it's not awards or I want a medal. All of that is BS. The only thing that matters is that the work sells. Picasso's got this line. It's like, great book. It's one of these books. It's annoyingly, it's like $80 to buy because you can't, it's no longer in print and then, there's no Kindle version or whatever. But some Hungarian photographer named Brasai was taking photos of him, and he was also a photographer, artist, writer. And he's like asking Picasso for advice on how to sell and how to price his work. And I should pull it up in case anybody wants to buy it. I'm pulling it up on Amazon, see if I can find it. And he's asking Picasso these questions. Picasso's like, early on, my drawings did not command a high price, but they all sold. The work must go out into the world, right? And what he was saying to this guy is that, like, the work has got to sell. If the work is not selling, you have no idea. You have no idea whether you have a niche or you don't have the niche. Like, the only thing that matters is that it goes out into the world. Is it selling? And, most people, of course, my freaking little screen thing is derping out. I'll send it to you in the email after the fact. But I think it's called Conversations with Picasso by Brasai. It's a great book. And no, Christopher, you're asking a crystal ball question. This is like when my mom goes to her financial advisor and is like, well, what's my portfolio going to be at in a year? And the photographer's like, or the financial advisor's like, I can't answer that. It's a crystal ball question. In the particular medium that sells better on this platform, no. There are some general trends, but the general trends are not something that you need or want to worry about. What's important is that you have all of them. You have to have a fine art paper. It can be gloss, or it can be a watercolor paper, a textured fine art. You should have canvas, you should have metal, you should have acrylic, you should have wood, and you let the customer decide. You let the customer decide what they want. But we teach you how to do all that, the media types to offer, and how to price it, and how to contemplate all of the things. That's one of those things that we teach. Nashik, someone was asking what style you mentioned. Street photography, Jerry, was what he said. Street photography. Sorry, I just saw that in the chat. But who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Can be about anything. Otherwise, I will send you a follow-up email sometime this afternoon that will have a recording of this session in case you want to go back and contemplate anything that was said or any of the questions. I will do that, as well as what else. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I forgot to mention. No, I think that's it. Yep, I got you, Don. Don't worry. Go ahead.
This sounds like very stupid, but recently, I in my Insta account, in my abstract Insta account, getting these DMs that, oh, I like your this.
It's a scam. Anyone that talks about NFTs is completely
Right.
full of it. Delete it immediately. Do not worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Patrick.
If it has NFT, delete it immediately. Okay, go ahead, Don. I got you. And then I'll circle back to you, Raymond. Don't worry. And you'll just need to unmute, Don. I'll let you know when you get it. Mike icon, bottom left.
How much time per day do you expect an artist to spend propagating all this social media stuff?
Total crystal
If
ball.
we don't choose your
Yeah.
co-piloting program, which is nice, but again, it comes with a price tag.
Yeah, it's also a crystal ball question, and the premise underpinning the question is like there's some sort of magical number of hours where everything just works out and everyone is utterly, totally, and completely different. What I would say is to be successful. Number one, you have to write the mental check of, you're not giving me 3 hours a week or 4 hours a week or 10 hours a week or whatever it is, but you're giving me 52 weeks of it. Okay. You have to write that mental check ahead of time. It's kind of like when you're getting ready for a 24-hour drive versus a 30-minute drive. It doesn't matter if it's a 30-minute drive or a 24-hour drive. At the tail end of the 30 minutes or the tail end of the 24 hours, it's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? So you have to set yourself up mentally. And then it's actually showing up every single solitary week and putting in those 3 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is. So it's less about the hours that you put in per week and more about stretching them out over a long and consistent period of time, which is where everyone fails. What I find inevitably is, being that this is an emotional business, an emotional roller coaster, the artist, the photographer in question, I've got a corporate job, I got 2 kids, I got 3 hours a week to throw at this. That's what I have. Okay, great. First 2 months, throw in the 3 hours a week, really motivated. At some point in time in month 3, why did I do this? I've gotten no results. I'm going to kill myself. This is the worst thing I've ever done. What am I doing? And then boom, some sort of a win happens. A sale, a commission. They get into a gallery. They get a ton of feedback, whatever it is. And the next thing you know, instead of the 3 hours a week, I see them putting in the 5 hours a week. And I'm like, that's weird. And it's like the emotional gas tank has got filled back up, right? So now the roller coaster's up here. And then 9 months later, same thing. And then, it just keeps going. So it's less about the number of hours that it's going to take you and more about, are you ready to do it consistently? And if you're not, then don't start. It's like, for all of the reasons that I mentioned, artists and photographers treat their marketing like the New Year's resolution, the gym membership, right? Going 4 days a week in January, March comes around, you haven't been once all month, right? So avoid that scenario at all times. And what are you, a Southwest guy? Looks like Southwest. Arizona?
That's Arizona, baby.
Yep. Love it.
But here's the thing, Patrick. I've been on both sides. As an artist, I was a professional musician for years.
Nice. What'd you play?
Then I went into corporate America, and I had my own wine marketing and brokerage company. And I always told my wineries to start, like you said, sales first, then develop your product.
Yeah.
Find out who's your unique position.
Yeah.
But not all artists think that way.
Almost no artists think that way.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because the creative process is the opposite.
Yeah.
And as a former musician, I can tell you, I wouldn't play the general business jobs because I couldn't stand weddings and bar mitzvahs. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I played art music. Did I starve? Yes. But I played what I wanted. So here we have the conundrum again with photography or painting and whatever. And the artist is has a creative energy. He doesn't necessarily tailor it to what's being purchased or trends. And that, I think, is the difficulty in bridging the gap between marketing as we know it from the one side and the artist mentality from the other side.
Yeah.
So,
but age old conundrum, right? Like
it is. It really is. So if you have
especially in music, like, oh, you're going to sell out, you're going to take a record deal, right? Like it's been all of that. So
yeah,
I don't think fundamentally what you're just saying is a question of integrity, right? What you're telling me is that, like,
sure,
I don't want to, compromise my integrity and go shoot a bunch of crap I have no interest in just to make money. And no one's suggesting you have to do that, right? But you do need some flexibility within your subject matter material more often than not to try and find something that's going to match the revenue goals that you have for the business. And all the greats have done that all throughout time. You don't have to compromise on your integrity to get it done. You really don't. You just have to figure out how you get that same creative fire that you get sometimes with a new subject matter material. But some people have it right out of the gates. Others don't. Some of our most successful customers just innately get bored and they're constantly hopping around all these things anyway, right? So there's just so many different ways to go about it and ways to do it. But I think 100% you can do it without losing your integrity. But at some point in time, to your point, and you already know this, if you want to have a business, you have to act like a business. And there's a whole heck of a lot of artists or photographers that say they want to act like a business, but they don't. They want to have a hobby. And that's totally okay too, right? Like, I get it. I love taking photos. I don't want a business. I enjoy it as a hobby. That's how I relax. Like, I love shooting. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how it all plays out.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, son. All right, Raymond, go ahead. You're up next.
Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to know that place that you're in right now, is that a studio? Is that one of the offices, or is that your room? And whose paintings is it? I mean, photography is that? Some nice stuff.
Yeah, he's got some really nice stuff. So it's a friend of mine's art gallery in 30A in Florida, but it's also just a static background.
Okay.
I do so many of these things. I've got a green screen, so I can change these. I can change these images at any point in time. I can be anywhere, Raymond.
All right, yeah, because I see sometimes your arm is missing.
Yeah.
But
it's
yeah, you're right. I thought of this as a hobby, but it's not a hobby. It's just something that I like to do. And now that I'm retired, I get a chance to do it. And I know that I can't do all that other marketing stuff. So I want to just see if it works once I put the money together.
Yeah.
So the heck with integrity and the heck with, I don't know how to do a website. I know you guys can. And if you can be transparent and show me, that would be a great thing. And
Awesome.
and you're right. You gotta get it out there. It's like playing the lottery. You gotta be in it to win it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a lot of people looking at your stuff, people are just gonna say, "Oh, that's very nice." Have you ever had a show before?
I know.
Crazy stuff like that. But yeah, I want to see a couple of dollars come out of the pocket. That would be nice.
100%. And and thanks, Raymond. We have a ton of people that are retired, and I think one of the awesome things about this location, right, and this talent that you guys you have is, yeah, it'll never be turned off, but also, like, it's nice to have a business and have purpose for the rest of your life, right? And I think about that for me, like, do I enjoy digital marketing? Yeah, I do. Do I think I'm good at it? Yeah, I do think I'm good at it. Do I plan on doing digital marketing for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. Okay? When I get to the end of this thing, that party is over, and I'm going to need something, or I'm going to go crazy, right? And I do think, like, and I see this with a number of my customers. And I've been at it for long enough that, like, I promise I'm not being morbid, but we've had multiple people in chemo still showing up to the very end, and then sadly they passed. But it's happened like multiple times recently. I'm gonna get a little choked up as I think about it. Some of these people I've known for years. But what's amazing is, like, the purpose and the drive to have that business and to get it out there and to have that income keep coming in. It keeps you going. It 100% keeps you going, and I see that, and I think that's an extremely beneficial thing to have later in life. And it, everyone has their passions and this and that, but when you have a vocation like that and you can have a business keep coming, it's striking, right? Like, the fact that I get 90-year-olds on here on a regular basis, like, that is not normal. That was like teaching people how to be an accountant. Like, nobody is coming on and trying to learn accounting at freaking 90. Like, not happening, right? So I think I don't know. I think it's one of the things that really is pretty amazing, is that you could have something, that long. I guess I love to cook. I'm gonna go crazy into cooking. I'm already crazy into cooking, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go off the deep end on that. Write that down somewhere. All right. Any finals before we wrap up, guys? Always run out of steam on the end of these. But yeah, I do. I love where we're at as a business, whether we're the right fit for you guys now, later down the line, or whatever. Definitely subscribe to the podcast. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast. I'll send it to you in an email. For those of you guys that listen to it, it's totally free. It's totally awesome. We put out some great info on that. Otherwise, we do these live streams all the time. Feel free to come back. Any questions that you have? Oh, yeah, Katerina, I see it. I know you guys take commission for sales. Question is why, and how do you sell to make money? So we have, and yeah, I'll answer yours too, Sharon. There's different plans, Katerina. There's some that have 0 transaction fees, and we guys take commissions for sales. Some have no transaction fees at all. Okay. And there's some plans that I think are 10 and some that are 15 and some that are 5. A great deal. I personally want us to get rid of the transaction fees completely, but normally, like, when you're just getting started, the number one most impactful, everyone thinks like, I'm not going to have to talk to anyone. They're just going to come to my website and buy the thing and they're going to be gone, right? The most impactful thing you can do, especially when you're not selling 50 things a day, is get on the damn phone with whoever is going to buy the thing and start a relationship, or get in a Zoom session, or start a FaceTime, right? So the majority of our customers, I have no problem saying this. I mean, anyone that knows me, like, my integrity is intact. You know what the majority of our customers do when they don't want to pay the transaction fees? Get the person on the phone and take the order over the phone. That's what they do, especially on some of the higher ticket ones. That happens all the time, right? And then some we have that are high volume sellers and they don't care and they just put it through. But we're constantly talking internally, like, should we just get rid of the damn fees? I would prefer to get rid of them, but I also understand, getting a cheaper plan and getting in there. But yeah, we moved at like a breakneck pace, a breakneck speed, meaning new advancements, new features, adding features, crazy new software stuff. Like, we are not in a set of stasis whatsoever. We're moving like crazy. So things are evolving. Hold on, drop my pen. All right, so this is a good one. AI art thoughts. Yeah, I'm a technology super freak. I play with all of the AI. I use the AI all the time, both to generate images, both to generate copy. I'm super fascinated by it. I'm experimenting with it here, there, and everywhere. There's no question that AI will have an impact on the art market, but by and large, not a huge one. Like, most people buy the art not just because of the art, but because of the artist in question. They have a relationship with them. They have a bond with them. They know, like, and trust this person. They've been following them on social for a while. Where I think AI will make an impact is, like, if you're Bed Bath & Beyond, right? And you've got a bunch of art on the wall that you're going to sell in, your whatever, like all of their products, or if you're like Hobby Lobby or one of those stores. But let me ask you this. Any of you guys know an artist that has their work in Hobby Lobby or Bed Bath & Beyond or Walmart or Nordstrom's or Macy's? No, none of you do. It is a tiny, tiny, tiny little sliver of the market. So who cares, right? Like, yes, that stuff is going to be replaced by AI, because why the hell would Nordstrom's or Hobby Lobby or Bed Bath & Beyond, now out of business, why would any of them pay the artist? They're not going to. AI can generate it just as well. It does it in 2 seconds. It's insane. But for all the rest of you guys, it's not going to be an issue. It really isn't. I think product photographers are going to get hammered really, really hard. But, brand is key, and nobody wants to buy something from a robot, right? They want to be bonded to the artist. So I think I'm optimistic, Sharon. I would say long term on AI. I'm not worried about it at all. I think it makes all of us better. And like anything else, like, is a glass half empty, half full, right? Are you going to have a scarcity or abundance mindset? And, is it any different? What is the word Luddite, right? Is it any different than those factory workers in England that were terrified that the spinning wheel was going to take all of their jobs? Like, no, it just makes everybody more productive. So I'm not worried about it. I'm optimistic. But okay, did we cover it all? Any finals? All right, I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to go rest my voice. Thanks for sticking it out. Thanks for hanging on. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your weeks. I'll send you an email with some follow-up stuff. And Raymond, I will reach out. I'll have somebody email you. And yeah, I hope you guys found it beneficial. It was fun hanging out. Bye now.